Yo, Sunday stream. Oh, I figure I had a little bit of time to kill. I think I probably got about 2 hours. We're gonna pop on. Just was helping a buddy with the website. Um, yeah, I got so much shit I gotta do. So, yeah, I have no expectations of what this one's gonna be. I think probably Webflow stuff to some degree. Again, please leave feedback if this is really boring. I had a whole thing where I made a wallpaper pack to try and give away as a thank you for people supporting, and I found out nobody could complete the order. So I don't know what that's about. Probably take a little bit of a look into that. There's got to be a somewhat decent reason. Maybe not. Let me get this set up because I, of course, haven't done my prep work. Boom. So I don't know if anyone tried to like go and download some of this wallpaper pack. So I created this new sunset pack. It's live. Godspeed if you can download it. I don't think anyone can. I don't know. There's a weird bug with Webflow and digital products. It was in beta, I don't know what it is. And like all mine were created before it switched over from beta. So I don't know if there's just oddities about things being left over, but it's all there. It should all technically work. You can add it to your cart, but the complete purchase just doesn't work. So, so thanks for the feedback, brother. Got some responses and help coming your way. Appreciate it, man. Yes. Yeah, so Sal and I were chatting about got to look at his website, and he's using the locomotive scroll. I actually, let's see, I did it very quickly on my girlfriend's site. So I added locomotive scroll, and they have like a sticky component, but just like how sticky works. Like this element is clearly sticking, which is great, but there's so many things with like if you're gonna have something stick on desktop but not on mobile. So with locomotive scroll, where you predominantly do all of your settings for this kind of stuff, is within the custom attributes, and like data scroll, it's all in their documentation in terms of how you do it. It was actually much simpler to set up than I thought it was. Very simple. Is it quite perfect? Like, I think there's still some things I haven't figured out. I haven't implemented it as much as I would like. I think with this page being so simple, like there's some, actually it won't show up here. Just some like subtle differences in scroll speed. I started getting to like negative scroll speed. It didn't really work. It like stopped right here, which I tried to fix with data scroll position top, didn't quite do it. So I think I'm just doing something dumb. But for anyone who's like trying to do locomotive scroll, it's great. For me and my site, the amount of sticky elements I have, it might be tough. I think, and Sal, like, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. Like, I would love to know if there's a way to like, I think the C content, or like what I have is like my content bucket. I could easily rename that locomotive scroll. I just wonder how I can put all the sticky content, like outside of that, how I control the vertical position on it. Can I responsibly, like, do I have to do like a ton of negative margins in order to get the sticky position correct? Because it just seems like sticky, I can't remember what it was. It doesn't seem like there's a ton of control. And the way like data attributes work is like there's no responsive ability when it comes to data attributes. So that's the only shortcoming I see. But otherwise, like the performance on it is fucking great. And Sal showed me his site, and like everything's just buttery smooth. Like he went through and no, you don't. It's easier than you think. That's what I love to hear, man. It's great fucking news. Because even just doing the locomotive scroll for like the body content, it's so nice. I didn't even, it was just like straight out of the box. Like didn't mess with any of the modifiers in terms of like how it smooths the scroll out. I noticed on mobile it was terrible though. I was like, oh fuck yeah, I want it on mobile. And when I tried it, and it was pretty bad. I may have been doing something wrong though. That's entirely possible. This should be max width. And so I've been doing a little bit of cleanup across the site also. Some styles were not working. All the product pages have cleaned up quite a bit. Consolidating classes. This still needs to be fixed, but it's getting there. This isn't sticky anymore. It's still weird. I feel like I need to have this span, but you know, it is what it is at this point. The about title on my page is sticky on desktop, tablet, and not on mobile. I got you, probably tight. Hey, I appreciate you, Sal. Good looking out. Because I think that'd be a nice sort of addition, like, because right now I have these like shitty fades, and I don't think fading is what I want. But like adding some sort of transition in gives it immediately like more of an elevated feel than just sort of a static, sort of like a static approach where just like nothing happens. Which, I mean, it's not terrible. Still get away with that, but yeah. And if I don't know if I completed that thought. But if there's anything you guys want to see, chat. I mean, this is kind of an AMA. I'm trying to turn all of them into AMA. I'm going to keep saying that until it sticks. Maybe just like will that into existence. Or maybe I just keep saying. Who knows? But yeah, I think this whole wallpaper thing is, it's like a high priority because I don't know what's broken. Why? Because I've had people order some of these packs, some of them work, some of them don't. But it's literally like you go to check out and it doesn't give you an error, it doesn't do anything. So I've heard there's something about requiring shipping. There's like an error involved with it. I don't really know. But like since they added this, so product type is new in Webflow in terms of like digital products, services, physical, advanced. I've come to understand that there's something in here about like requiring shipping is what causes a problem, but I don't really know. Yeah, and also one thing I was trying to do was going through and like I created all sorts of like references, but they don't really do anything anymore. So I'm having to like go through and clean them out, but then you find out that like they're all linked somewhere on the product page. I thought I deleted everything on this product page. I did not. So this is like the print page, which I rather liked, but I don't know if I really need it anymore. Like, I don't know how prints are going to work. I can always go through the backups. Fuck it. We're moving on. Products. Yeah, these like references, department, like I watched the wrong YouTube videos on some of this stuff and not advised. Let's see, type. I don't, what is this referencing? Categories? Compare. Slowly cleaning up the shit heap. Oh. But I don't know if this is really going to solve my problem. Wow, excuse me. Like, there's nothing in here about, like, there's no inventory management. There's no order number, but that should not be a problem. Options, there's no product variants. I don't know. I also have heard sometimes with Webflow, like, if you just republish things, they magically start working. So let's try it. Desk is a mess. Yeah, I made mention I was getting a boom arm for my mic. It's kind of far away. I don't know if the audio is picking up all that well. I bought a boom mic, and then Elgato announced their boom mic the day mine showed up. So I have to ship my other one back and wait for the new one. That doesn't ship for another couple of weeks. So might be a little bit. Okay. Let's see if this works. Off to a good start. Originals. I almost feel like there needs to be a drop down from originals. Like me navigating to each of these each time is feeling slightly painful. So add to cart. What happened here? Oh no. So I did modify some styles. Let's go wall. Let's go wallpaper. Let's go and do desktop streaming. Works. Yeah, this kind of shit just. One thing I don't know if I advise or not is like doing your cart in a symbol. It's kind of weird. Oh god, what happened? What? But like if you have multiple instances of a cart, it doesn't always inherit the styles of what's within, which is really strange. And I can't even think of a use case where that's useful. So like within the cart button, or like the cart, there's the button and then there's the wrapper and the container, and it's all within there. So if you keep adding cart buttons, if you make the like updates on one of them, it doesn't really update it across the board. So it's definitely something to watch out for. But then you're left with like modifying it within in here, which is kind of strange. T-cart price. And like, where's this other page? This is what I wish I knew. So some of these, like, there's so many oddities um, with the cart on Webflow that, like, in the fact that like my checkout just doesn't work, which is, I don't think I was having a ton of people beating down my door to buy shit, but like the fact that like my checkout doesn't work, and if I'm selling something like a wallpaper pack for $1.99 and it doesn't work, are people really going to feel compelled to just reach out? Like, how bad do they want that wallpaper pack? Like, probably not that bad. So I could go probably years without like people trying it, not working. Like, oh fuck it, like who cares? So this is where like I announced the wallpaper pack as like for free. I set up the discount code. I put together a quick video for it, and all I got back was like, yeah, it doesn't work. Sweet. So if you have a Webflow and you're selling digital products, I would just watch your ass a little bit. Apparently there's just bugs where it just decides it doesn't want to work. One other thing I realized, the remove button is not something you can put on the checkout page. It's only in the cart page, which I kind of get because that's technically best practices. Like you, best practices from like a conversion standpoint, not best practices from a user standpoint. I think there's an important delineation to be made there of like, yeah, best practices gets used and bent in different, depending on what lens you look at it through. Like, there's so many like just dark UX, whatever about that term, but it's true. Like all these like, I think it's a Tumblr. Oh god, these fucking. What is this? I mean, everyone knows what they are. Unsubscribe links. I don't know what friend spam is. All this bullshit. Call that what you will. But all the different techniques of just like funneling people down a certain path through questionable methods, I would say. Like, and one of them is like removing, like you remove the navigation on the checkout page. You remove. I always thought you like, maybe not always. I actually didn't know removing the remove button from the checkout page is a best practice, but I can see why it is. It's all about pushing people further down the funnel. That's the whole idea of it. And so if you can't remove it, like you've got to go back out of the funnel through. It's like if you go to Amazon and you go into the checkout, you try and click back to the cart and it's like gives you a prompt of like, are you sure? And it's like every little barrier adds up. Like that's their whole game. And it's definitely not something to be naive about. Like it is very much the reality of what they're trying to do. So fix that. What's going to happen here? Oh, good. T-cart title, 3-view width. So this wrapper is pretty narrow. Max width 640. Product image, cart product image, max width 240. Max height 160. Yeah. I feel like it works. And so this is where I get into a lot of like view width. Oh shit, it's scaled. So this is always important to look at, like what you're scaling at when you're looking at this. So everything was scaled down 70%, which weird things can happen, so I wouldn't evaluate too much. So if I have pixel padding, but I have a view width font, which I don't anymore, actually, I just changed it. So you kind of want to like stay consistent with units. And I was actually talking with Sal about this. Like one thing I was finding, so if I'm doing view width fonts, not so much in the cart. We can talk about it in a second. Like view width for fonts and then M units for everything based off of that. So those are relative units to the font size. I found that's the best way to control letter spacing, even across like different sizes. I found like I have to do less like overriding on viewport sizes for letter spacing or line height, anything like that. Like if I use M units. Because I think certain fonts set a certain way, and it tends to stay true regardless of size. At least from my perspective. Let's make this fucking bigger. Oh, not 230. And I realize I'm not really handling the problem at hand with my cart. That is not lost on me. I've like totally neglected XL viewport. I think it's important, especially for someone who has an XDR display and almost always looking at it in XL. I just never did it. I think it's getting there. But I need to figure this stupid thing out. So I'll publish some of these updates. Continue to check out. This should still work regardless. And I found out there's a test card number. It's a bunch of 4.2s for Stripe. Four two, 424. Actually, I don't know if this is even important. One thing I don't know is if you can actually style some of these like radio buttons. You're supposed to be able to, but I haven't had much luck doing it. And I know this is not good. That's low priority. I'm trying to get everything that's important dialed in first. What is this? It's not focusable. Why is that not focusable? The other thing that's a problem is like this idea of shipping address. Like there's no shipping address. There should be a billing address, but the problem is like billing address is buried beneath this. Like billing address is the same, but it shouldn't be. There shouldn't even be a shipping address. So if I do conditional visibility to hide the shipping address, ideally it's just like email address, payment info, billing address. Done. But it's not. Like I can't. I tried conditional visibility on shipping address and it just like you get email address, payment info, and by default it's hidden. And there is nothing. There is no billing address or there is no shipping address. So it's kind of like this weird problem with Webflow. So this is again like another one of the pain points with them, but it's okay. I just got to figure out how to get to work. This is my biggest problem. Like I legitimately don't know why I can't check out. Bob Ross, it's my de facto. Let's see if refreshing is going to update the styles. I thought I fixed these styles. I didn't. Input. Why is minus 0.02 I think? So I was pretty sure I'd fix that. input. I've done this like several times. Medium. Okay, well, hopefully that's it for that. One 0334, I think is one. Okay, so this is what I think. I'll pop console out. Each dictionary in the list icon should be a non-empty. I don't know what the fuck that means. That's fine. That's why, like, you can't drag and steal shit. So I don't get why it's saying like all this stuff is non-focusable. Like that's really strange. How do I disable billing address on Webflow checkout? Oh, good. No answer. That's good. Credit card fields aren't working. Invalid form control with name equals category. Please follow guidelines. They will solve most issues for you automatically or at least point you in the right direction. It's not helpful. Hidden required field? Oh. All I'm hiding is this. This is like the one thing that... Maybe I just take this off. I've noticed like trimming down a lot of fat in my site has made the publishing times a lot quicker. I just hate all these like CMS collection pages. I can't like change the order of them. I can't delete them. Like I don't need pages for all the collections I make, so it's strange. That. This is so stupid. Is this gonna make it work? Their checkout is such a piece of shit. I swear to God. I don't know what to do. I'm about ready to chalk it and figure out Am I the only one up in this motherfucker? Yeah, I think so, man. I think there are a couple people popped in at some point, heard me bitching about Webflow and bug squashing, and they were just like, pass. Although you never know. The view count, people who are here is kind of, it's not always accurate. So I don't know, man. You got to watch yourself. You never know who's watching. But I don't blame people. This is where it's like, this is what I need to do. I wanted to come on stream, but I'm like almost literally pulling my hair out trying to think about this. So I think I'm probably going to stop. I'm going to figure this out tonight. I made some style updates, which I think have been necessary. Cleaned up a couple things. Like, what the fuck's going on with this? Like, I really don't know. But yeah, Sal, if you got anything you want to chat about, man, let me know. I might just do some photos. I don't see why not. This. Or if there's anything, Sal, you want to talk about Webflow, like, I'm down. Always down. Yeah, I added a bunch of photos. I don't know if anyone has this issue or not. If you're using the, what's the app version? If you're using the TV app, periodically quit and reopen it. There's definitely an issue with like images not updating properly. Like it doesn't sync and pull down new images. My brother who developed it is convinced it does, but I can promise you it does not always do it. And there's definitely an issue where like if I delete an image, like a black screen will show up. He also thinks my app may have become corrupted. I'm calling that laziness. I don't think he wants to fix it. Well, he's busy. I'll give him that. I think he knows there's an issue, he just doesn't want to admit it. So if you have that issue, try quitting it. Hopefully a fix is on the way with the app. I'm trying to get my brother to sit down and do that. And I think video is something we've been talking about. I don't know when it's going to happen. All those passive videos I've been doing on here might find their way. I might find a home there. I don't give a shit who's watching. Yeah. You know, these small streams like that, I feel like they're gaining steam, but you know, it's jump on at random times and I start bitching about the wrong thing and everyone's just at it. What's the deal with your Webflow issue? So my Webflow issue has been like digital downloads. It just, I try and go and check out and it just will not check out. It won't let me, and like, I don't know what this is. Oh, let's get this pinned. Let's see if I can find it. So normally it should throw errors, but it's not even throwing errors on this shit. Like I haven't filled anything out. Well, let's see if I remove my name. Nothing. I'm not hiding anything. Like this shipping method shouldn't even be here for a digital product. It used to have to be when it was in beta before they figured out a lot of shit with digital products, but like it just doesn't fucking work. And like I want to sell a lot of digital products. So it's definitely frustrating for me. There's no inventory management. There's no, I don't know. People have purchased them. That's where like people have purchased these texture packs before. So it worked at some point. I don't know what the fuck happened. So I am very confused. Probably should be showing all these secret URLs on here, but you know, I'll just change them. So yeah, that's what I'm battling right now. If you have any insights into it, I would love to hear it. Have you done any digital downloads? Oh, shit, let's fix this. Yeah, I figured out I need to reorganize those. I think HSL needs to go above color grading. Let's do it. I haven't done ecom, Webflow ecom. Yeah, it's frustrating. That's the best way I would describe it. So many limitations, so much. I don't like it. I'm at a point now with like this sort of this issue. Like now, Webflow has a chatbot, and it's been fucking useless. Like, it's like, oh, we'll connect you to someone, and I give them all these problems, and it's like, well, I can't remember what the resolution was, but it was basically they're not going to do fucking anything. So I don't know who I talk to anymore. I've posted stuff in the forums. I haven't gotten any responses. Getting a little salty about it. But at the same time, Webflow is so good at so many things, I don't think I can really be salty. Maybe throw a fit. But at the same time, I am paying money for this. I'd like for it to work. That's too much to ask. Whoa. Lazy Sunday. Ah, shit. Watch is dying. Give me enough time and I'll figure it out. That's more or less my approach to Webflow is like, let me just suffer enough and I'll eventually get to a point where it makes sense. Yo, it's good, Arjun. We're just, well, maybe me, not we. I won't throw Sal in the same bucket as me. Bitching about Webflow because nothing works. I'll get over it. I think. You've been working a lot in Webflow, Arjun. How's that been going, man? Been liking it? Is it a love-hate sort of thing? That's what I got. This feels pedestrian. It feels much better than that, but it's slightly boring. Just want to get weird on this one, actually. Apparently I didn't do much with it. Such a random shot. Oh, that's the original. Oh. Excuse me. See, John, maybe this guy will be your muse. Asking you shall receive. Yeah. Seriously, man. Arjun, save us. Need help. Yeah, it is pretty smooth. I will say that. For someone who doesn't know fuck all for web development, I mean, what I'm able to do in there is pretty great. I'm not saying the work's great. I'm saying the functionality that I'm able to achieve is very helpful. It's pretty intuitive. Like if you just understand like basic HTML and just spend a little time getting familiar with the editor, it's, I don't know, it's pretty nice. Just started using it this month. Dude, good on you for taking the plunge. I mean, it was definitely painful for me for a while. That's for sure. And like even now, I'm finding so many things that I'm going back and redoing just because I know a better way of doing it now. But it's awesome. It's going well. I mean, I think it's a great tool to learn. There's no way to think it's a bad thing to learn. I don't know if there's anything else that's like that's comparable. Maybe ReadyMag is maybe the closest, but just as a designer to be able to like make something go live. And for me, I'm like more and more leaning into the idea of just like not depending on anyone. The less dependencies you have, the better. Like I think it's okay to like need help with things, want help with things, but like if you're just beholden to someone else for anything, like I think with web development, the more beholden you are to someone else, especially if it's done on like a freelance basis or like a passion project basis, like if you expect someone to care as much about something as you do, like you're going to be severely disappointed. I think it happens at every level to some degree. So the more you can just like take things into your own initiative and make it yourself, like I think the better. You don't have to wait for anyone's availability. You don't have to wait for them to like burn hours on stuff. Like you just kind of do it yourself. Yeah, it's cool because I feel like I can just crank out clean websites for clients if I try and do freelance in the future. There you go. Yep. And I think there's probably a lot of ways you could even like, if you know that's the route you want to go. Not saying you build out templates, but there's a lot of like heavy lifting stuff you can do up front in terms of like CMS tie-ins, collection naming, div naming, overall structure. I don't know. I'm not advocating for templates. Let's be very clear. But like you could, I feel like you could jump into a website from design to development really quickly and have a finished product quickly. As long as people don't change their minds about things, I think you're pretty good. That's always the worry once you get into development, but that's no different depending when you're doing the development or someone else is. So there's kind of no risk in my head of doing it. So I'm an advocate. Stoked to hear you're liking it. Webflow, if you're listening, you're welcome. I just like, I don't know. I've been advocating Webflow for a while. So it's rad to see people take it up and actually like it. So I'm not totally crazy. I guess at the end of the day, there's some reassurance there. I mean, I might be, but you know, for different reasons. Fuck. I feel like this has so much more potential. It's just not actualized. Like my idea was to be weird with it, and I'm not doing anything weird with it at all. I don't have to worry about the back end stuff too much. Yeah, if you don't, that's great. I think if you need to get into the back end implementation of Webflow, it's really not that hard. I think once you kind of wrap your head around how the collections work, it's pretty straightforward. I'm a big fan personally. Like my site is like everything. I think the most CMS collections I've done is like this whole originals page and collabs page. Like it's 100% powered by collections. So even these lists, this copy isn't, but all the content, this anchor nav, all powered by CMS. Like it kind of depends how far down the rabbit hole you want to go at the end of the day. So I went pretty far because I'm lazy and I just want to do things. I'd rather do work up front once and then not have to do it later. Yo, the Twitch app is slick for these streams. It's even got picture-in-picture. I think it's going to switch from YouTube. Nice. Yeah, I keep on hearing more and more features about Twitch. I keep waiting for YouTube to like pick up the slack and kind of catch up with Twitch, but it doesn't seem like it's a huge priority for them. I don't know. But I just re-upped the Streamlabs Prime, so I'm going to be streaming to both, I think, for the foreseeable future. See if that sticks or not. We'll see. Oh, and I think, so in the description there, I had someone, I'm only bringing this up because someone asked. I've put it in the description in case anyone felt obligated or interested. It's probably the better word, but because you shouldn't feel obligated. The tip page was not working. I had the wrong URL. It just didn't work. So it's in there if you want it. Like, I'm not doing this for tips, but that should be working. What else did I worked on something else? There's something else with the stream that wasn't working that should be working now. Again, notifications aren't done. I'm in like this weird limbo where I'm like, I'm starting to go back to work pretty soon, I think, and I'm trying to like wrap some things up. I need to do the singer concept needs to get wrapped. Probably gonna start animation on that. So I don't know if that's something that's of interest. Like I did the, what's it called? I did the photo site animation. It's on, where's it? Delta. I don't know if that was painful or not. Like if I know there's only a couple people here right now, but like, was this shit too painful? Like me going through and doing animations? Because it's, I don't know. It's kind of tedious doing all the like the keyframing and the way I do it. So again, this is where I'm open to feedback. I can do that shit off stream. I'm pretty much working all the time. So, but what I do on stream, I'm open to. I just know photos are kind of something people have always asked me about, so I'm more inclined to do it. Webflow stuff I get asked for a lot, but again, I don't want to like start figuring out checkout bugs. Like that's probably not the best sort of shit. I'll end up being that asshole that jumps from one app to the other with different names. Oh, there you go. Sally Diz. There we go. That makes sense. Yeah, Twitch is nice, man. I just felt like it was so niche when I started. But I think like if people are invested in the idea of a stream, like I think the experience is better on Twitch. And I kind of assume the worst. Like I don't think people they want the easiest avenue possible. So I don't blame them. So I never assumed that Twitch was the right avenue to go, but I'm more and more convinced it is. See, this one's not tack shard. It's not bad though. I think it's just smart previews that I'm using now, kind of bugging out. There's so many shots from this morning, like this photo session. They've been so tricky. So it's like identifying or like establishing an identity for any of these has been kind of tough. Do you go warm or sunrise? It's pre-dawn. Do you go cool? I think I complain about this at least once a stream, so you can check that off the Jw.S stream bingo chart. He complained about images being tough to establish personality. Check. He complained about Webflow. Check. Did he not have his sources all figured out in Streamlabs? Definitely check. Got the rain going. Something, right? Sunday. Had a couple beers. Maybe the bar's a little lower than usual. Another one that feels pedestrian. This is just my thing today, is just banging out boring edits. Aren't you glad you tuned in? Working on animation could be interesting for the project I'm working on right now. I'm trying to fine-tune text animations and timing in Webflow. Also, I might go into After Effects to create a Lottie animation button. Yeah, you'd be braver than me with the Lottie. I just haven't had the stomach for it. Yeah, timing. I mean, I feel like Webflow's editor is pretty good for doing animations. It's not like if you're used to different things like After Effects, shit like that. Like it's maybe not the most intuitive. Like how to get one-to-one. Oh, that's not yeah, it can be a little tough sometimes. I've just like, not to just acknowledge it and just kind of walk away from it, but I don't know if like having a visual reference in After Effects has really helped me solve animation timing issues in Webflow. Like it's kind of at least my brain looks at it differently and like comes to different solutions differently. Like it doesn't help to have like, I think it helps in some senses to have the After Effects reference, but with different scrolling and like all the different ways you can trigger animations in Webflow, I've found it's not wholly like one-to-one. Like if I have that motion reference, I don't have a clear path. I might change it based on what my parameters are in Webflow. And that's also like design. I feel like I've stopped doing as much design in like Sketch or Photoshop or anything. Like I've just been starting to do like rough concepts in Webflow and then kind of like iron out the details that way. And I don't know if that's the best way to do it or not. Again, this is maybe just something like how my brain functions, where I just didn't feel like I had like the one-to-one sort of correlation. Like so much of my site is sticky in the way it works, or like there's the potential for things to be sticky, and that might change how the layout interacts, or I find like things just scale differently, It's really interesting. I used to like just hand off static comps and just QA stuff, and so much would change through QA sometimes, just because things didn't feel right. But now I can just jump straight into the code and do it this way. And again, I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. I'm actually using custom code for the animations. I've implemented anime.js, but might have to try implement GSAT. Not familiar with that one. Shit. Get the text. Look out. Yeah, this might be a pretty short stream. There's a chance I come back on later. Maybe get my shit together. I'm not a developer, so it's a struggle. Green sock. Huh? What's that? Oh. Apparently I've been on green sock. Oh yeah, I was trying to make a seamless marquee. Yeah, seamless marquees. But yeah, for not being a developer, I mean, I feel like you can do so much in Webflow where you don't really have to. You don't have to be a developer to like make something pretty rad, but I think that extra like 5%, you kind of need to know, at least be not proficient, familiar with like different coding languages, so you can kind of like add some of these additional tools on top of it. Like even the locomotive scroll, I think that adds such a nice component. Which is weird because like I don't know why it seems so much more performant than like native Webflow interactions. It's really strange to me. I've had so many performance issues with Webflow. I don't really know why. Like what the things that what's it called? Things that like the locomotive scroll, like it's moving large items in the canvas, and that was always a point that would start causing problems for Webflow native interactions. Like it's just, I don't know. And there's no feedback from Webflow in terms of like, am I doing too many? Because I would, my first time was, I did my site before. It was like every element, like all the meta, these all loaded individually on a slight delay with animation, with opacity blurs, and even filter blurs. All of it. Like, and it worked sometimes. Sometimes it would just like lock things up, but like the redraws and all that shit on there were crazy. And it was not something I want to go back to, but right now, like everything feels so static and stale. Like I just don't even have a smooth scroll, don't have, I don't know, anything really. It's kind of sad, but I don't know. My point being, like, it's weird that locomotive scrolls so much better. That's all I'm saying. You can do seamless marquee in Webflow. It's on my site with the brand names. Yeah, is that custom code though? Is it just like an HTML embed? Like I tried using the HTML marquee, but then like where it loops, it never was quite right. It was always like, it was never seamless. At least for me, I don't know why. And then I found out that like the marquee is something they're trying to phase out. I don't know. So I gave up on it. And then animating them based on scroll position was something that like really caused a lot of problems, performance-wise. This one I'll fix. Oh, some visual trickery happening? Yeah. That's where I saw like sometimes it's computed on width, and then you have to set the duration of the animation to a very specific time based on it happening, like the set amount of characters, like how long an animation takes. So you have to like set the loop very specifically. It's not like I thought it was going into it. I always thought it was just as easy as like setting it to marquee and repeat infinite. Boom, you got a marquee. Not quite. Ooh, this is quite working out. It's not terrible. So I'm just like, because it's so bright out right now, I'm really not doing much refinement. Like if I really want to get into the details of the color, I'll wait till it's dark so I know exactly what I'm looking at. This one seemed better in theory. Doesn't feel that great. But Sal, is that kind of how you do it? Is like setting the animation time based on the width of the characters in the marquee? Turn this AC off. Yeah, it's like a light spot. I don't remember exactly. I have to dig into it. I haven't looked at that code in a while. Yeah, don't worry about it, man. There's no worries. I've kind of made peace with the fact that like maybe a carousel's not in my cards right now, or marquee. It's all good. Pull out more info than this from this. Bad. I thought there'd be like, so if I up the exposure a little bit, I thought it would pull out more details, but hmm. Hey, shots. Oh my god, this one drove me fucking crazy. That's the raw shot. I've never been able to like actualize the potential of this one. Slightly frustrating. I don't know what makes me think I'm gonna do it now, but let's try it. Use that. Maybe come with like a dark version of these. So like all these are dragged down. The color grading loom or the color grading balance is drag downs for darker images. I just keep forgetting all this shit and I keep messing with all these parameters and it's like nothing's working. But if I just stop being stupid, I could leverage them properly. Since you're self-admittedly shitty with Twitter messages, email easier? Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what it is about. I just found another one that like I from like a couple months ago and I just never I didn't respond immediately, and then I stopped seeing notifications for it, so I didn't know it was something that I didn't respond to. Even if I know it's something I need to respond to, I'm still not the best at it. So yeah, email works, man. And the shadows are so boring. Incredibly boring. I don't know if I can pull this down enough. I want this pretty flat. The flatter that is, the better, without flat spots, if that makes sense. Tonal flat spots, or tonal inversions, which I think looks like it's getting into. I like it more. It feels better. I think there's too much saturation in greens, which don't do this. It's kind of like a last resort thing, but I see it as such a problem. I want to kind of see if I can even get it right before I pursue this much further. It might just be in my head. I don't know. I'll be in touch with you. Email. Yeah, hey, thanks, Sal. Appreciate it, man. I'm probably gonna have to bounce out pretty soon here too myself. I thought I'd have more time. I think this is super. So, thank you to everyone who came through. I think I'll be back tomorrow. More of a plan of what I'm gonna work on. No planned streams. I don't think it's quite there yet with the viewership, and in time, it'll get there. Well, have a good one, Sal. Thanks for coming through, man. Thank you for always fun chatting about all the Webflow stuff. I actually don't know many other people who are like diving in to the extent that I think that we have. So kicking things around, knowing I'm not crazy, or maybe I am crazy about shit. Good reality check. You gotta post a scripted YouTube video or something? I know. Maybe I need to make that more of a priority. Yeah, I mean, maybe the streams go on pause for a minute until I can come up with a couple clips. Gauge reaction on that to see if that's of interest. I think the streams are great for certain people, but I think the bulk of people it's not super interesting for. And there's so much rambling, like all this bullshit like I'm going through of like, oh, I don't know, let me try this, I don't know. Like let me let me take the pain out. And so there's maybe more like dedicated information to the videos, and the streams are more of like an interaction time for me to like give feedback, talk about very like something that maybe I left out in the video. But yeah, Arjun, I think you got a good point. Like that needs to get there. I have to finish like the intro. I got to finish the cards for it, the intro design. I got to come up with the script. I got to come up with the content. But it's Fuck, maybe tomorrow. Yeah, maybe streams will take a break. I don't know. I think like photos I need to get through. Um, but I think you do have a good point. It's like this, like I've struggled with like 3 or 4 photos and none of them have really turned out. It's part of the process. I'm not going to shy away from the realities of my workflow. Pretty, pretty shitty things that go on. I spend a lot of time without showing much for it. Um, so, sorry. But yeah, actually, on that note, I'm probably going to call it here. Weird short stream, I know. I think I need to wrap my head around a couple things, get a couple things checked off. There's the singer site. There's the videos I want to do. There's, I mean, there's all. I feel like every time I like log off, there's all these things I want to work on. I think I just need to shut the fuck up and do it. So, yeah, the singer site's getting there. That could be fun to do at some point, but I think videos being a bigger priority to at least get something out there that's more scripted and more like to the point. Um, so yeah, maybe the next couple days. So yeah, all right, Arjun. Thanks for coming through, man. Sal, you as well, and anyone else watching this DVR. So yeah, maybe a couple days without a stream, but hopefully working on content. So all right, looking forward to seeing it. Hopefully it lives up to it. We'll see if I can deliver. So